Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're now over here at Bonds Payable Part 5. We're going to be going ahead and determining the bond proceeds where the stated rate of interest is equal to the market rate of interest. Now, if you remember from my video 4, what did we say? We said that if the stated rate and the market rate were the same, the bond would be issuing at face value or for the amount of the proceeds, or basically the amount of the bond. So let's go ahead and actually prove it. So let's take a look at our example. So on January 1st, 2026, a $15 million bond was issued by YYZ Company. The bond payable has a 15-year term and will pay interest annually at a rate of 10%. Determine the bond proceeds if the market rate of interest is 10%. So the first thing we're going to go through and do is we're going to say, what is the cash that's going to be paid out as a result of this bond going through and being issued? Well, as we know from a bond, and we've seen this in the prior examples, is we're really going to have over here, there's going to be two streams of payments. One is going to be the interest payment every single year for the next 15 years for our bond. And then we're going to have the principal payment. So if this is not sounding familiar to you, please go ahead and look at those prior videos. So right over here, my principal amount, or the amount that the bond will pay at the end of the 15 years, is 15 million. Okay, now the amount of the cash paid for interest is going to be the face value times the stated interest rate. The stated interest rate is 10%. So the amount of the interest is going to be 1.5 million. Notice, whenever I see an interest rate, it is always going to be an annual rate. So now that we've gone through over here and have figured out what we're doing in terms of the cash, what we're now going to go through and do is we're going to go to the present value tables. So for this principal amount that's going to be paid, the table we're going to use, because remember, this is a lump sum payment being made at the end of 15 years. Remember, the bond is like an interest-only loan. I pay interest every year, and then I make then I repay the loan at the end of the term. So here I'm going to go to the present value of $1. And this is what I'm going to make sure I do. I'm going to say, how many times am I paying interest? This is 15 periods, right? 15 years. It's annually, so once per year at 10% market rate. Okay, this 10% down here is the stated rate. Okay, so this is the stated interest rate. So over here, 15 periods at 10%. If I come over here to my present value of $1 table, I come over here to 10% at 15 periods. This is going to be 0.23939. So 0.23939. Okay. So the total present value of the principal is going to be 15 million times 0.23939, or 3,590,850. If I took this amount and I reinvested it every year, earning 10%, and if I got interest on interest, it'd be worth 15 million in 15 years. Again, watch the prior videos, as this part does not make sense. All we're kind of really doing is putting this together. Now, since we can't use the present value of $1 table, we could, but it would take a long time because I'd have to compute 15 separate values because this is being paid each year, right? I would have to go, 1.5 million, one period from now at 10, two periods at but we have something that's easier for us to go through and use. And this is the present value of an ordinary annuity table. So I'm going to come over here. Number of periods is 15. I'm going to come over here to the 10, and this is going to be 7.60608. So 7.60608. So this is going to be present value of an ordinary annuity of $1. And this is going to be 15 periods at 10% market rate. Very, very important that whatever, if you're using 10 and 15 up here as the market rate of interest, you got to use the same on the one down here. So when I move this over here and I multiply this through, what I get with is 11,409,120. So my total present value of the interest payments is going to be 11,409,120. When I add these two amounts up, I'm going to get 14,999,970. It's almost $15 million. It's just an issue over here with the rounding. So if I come over here and if I'm ever given a question like this, where the market rate of interest and the stated interest rate is the same, you'll never get that in my class, but you may get it someplace else. I'm always going to credit bonds payable for the full face value of the bond. In this case here, the amount of cash I'm receiving is essentially the same. So over here, I'm going to debit cash for 15 million. I'm going to say record bond issuance. Okay, so I'll leave you off over here. The important lesson learned is that if the stated rate of interest is the market rate of interest, the bond payable will always issue at face value. So you don't have to do what I just did, but I'm sharing it with you so you know how to do it. Anyways, I want to thank you. Please feel free to leave any questions you might have below, and appreciate you liking and subscribing to the videos. I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Have a great day.